Welcome to the FantasyFootballFirst.com podcast.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Where we'll hang out and discuss all things fantasy football.
Go rock this thing, huh? Love you, man. Go get it.
We'll give our best fantasy advice, predictions, insights, and more.
Play our game. All right? Play hard, but stay poised. Get it done.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. The show starts with Devin, Rick, and Quinn right now.
Today we'll be talking about quarterback rankings.
What is up, First fans? Woo!
No.
Yeah, I know that's a little overboard, but this is our first episode. I was kind of excited. I know you guys are excited. We're all excited to be here.
Pumped.
Discuss some fantasy football with you guys. Welcome to the show. We have a great episode today. We are going to talk about what to make of the 2020 quarterback moves. There were a few moves that were made, some that weren't made. We've got all sorts of different stuff today. We're going to key on 4 players, though. Tom Brady, PHILLIP Rivers, Teddy Bridgewater, and Nick Foles. So what we want to know is how this is going to impact our fantasy football teams, and will it be worthwhile to even draft any of these guys? So we're going to get into this with our first quarterback, and that is the famous Tom Old Man Brady, formerly of the New England Patriots. Of course, everybody knows who he is.
Oh, yeah.
Went from New England, traveled to Tampa Bay, got some warmth going on down there. Doesn't have to play in those cold weather games anymore, which he was pretty good at. So maybe he won't be any good in these warm weather games. Who knows? But, you know, is he going to be better or worse? Is he going to be in a better situation? And why? What do we think about Tom Brady? Devin, got some thoughts?
So, I mean, first of all, I think Tom Brady is going to be very successful in Tampa Bay. But an argument that I heard towards the beginning once he went to Tampa is that all of his habits will change. Like his sleeping habits, going to the grocery store, his eating habits, everything is going to change.
Will he still be kissing his kids on the lips? Will that habit stay there?
I think they live in New York, which is farther away now.
They live in Tampa.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
I think they all moved to Tampa.
Okay.
Of course, she's got stuff everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
filthy rich and places everywhere, I'm sure. But
that was one of the arguments that I heard, is that all of his habits will change after this. So even his workout habits are probably even going to change.
like working out in the wrong house?
Well, I mean, like working out at like different times of the day, like
He's still going to put in the same workout.
Yeah.
What is your
absolutely.
argument
Yeah,
here?
is that his habits will change.
Okay.
It's gonna feel
And you think it's going to be better than what he was?
or worse?
Well, yeah, obviously he's going to be better or worse.
Dude, that's the whole conversation here.
Highly
Yeah.
doubtful that he will remain the same.
Dude, I'm gay, but I like women. That's what you just said.
Yeah, but that's something that would be different then.
No. Hold up.
I'm just saying, instead of him going to a team with better receivers, a different coach, his habits will change, and that's also something that we need to look at. That's something to put into consideration.
Well, a different
you should
coach
put into-
entirely. I mean, is he going to be able to do stuff on his own now, or is he? I mean, he's not under the Bill Belichick thumb. So he might feel a little loosey goosey down there in Tampa. And that might be good with his old age. I know I'm old, and we're similar age, and loosey goosey might be good.
Yeah.
Got the old creaky bones.
I definitely think he has an upgrade at receivers, though.
Oh yeah, man, huh?
Yeah.
Whew. But what about offensive line? Do we know much about that? I know they drafted an offensive lineman, so that will help. It didn't seem like they were terrible last year. I mean, I didn't pay a lot of attention to the offensive line because you had Jameis Winston running around back there with his head cut off, throwing balls everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was hard to tell if that was offensive line or just
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
What do you think, Quinn? Tom Brady better or worse?
Yes.
All right. And is he someone you would want to draft in, say, a one quarterback league? Do you draft him at,
I definitely,
as the 8th, 9th, 10th? I mean, or do any of you think he's going to finish high, top 5?
I think for the quarterback situation, Tom Brady will probably finish really high.
Like top 5 or top 10 or 15?
Well, I mean, he only had Julian Edelman pretty much last year to throw to. Now he's got...
We had James White.
Come on.
Pretty decent.
Tom Brady did do pretty good last year.
James White is a running back.
Yeah, and he caught a lot of passes.
Practically like half running back, half receiver.
Well, you saw what happened the one game. I mean, it was against Miami, but the one game they had Antonio Brown, he was doing good with 2 wide receivers.
Yeah.
That were good. And now he's got tight end Gronkowski as well, who's got chemistry with. They got a pass catching back as well. So I think...
It's okay, here it is.
I think it's good with Tom Brady. I don't...
Top 5 or top 10? I need an answer.
That's hard though, because
I need an answer.
It's really hard. He gets hit once and he's dead.
What do you think?
I'm gonna say top 8.
Okay, so a top 10 quarterback. Devin?
I think he's absolutely a top 10 quarterback, but he has potential to be a top 5.
Okay.
Well, anybody has the potential to be top 5.
And I think I'm going to go a little fringy here and say just outside of the top 10. I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this league. I know that he's got a lot of upgrades, but...
So you don't think he's going to be top 10?
I just don't think he'll be quite top 10. He'll
So you're
sit around
saying
that 10.
that-
I think he'll just be just outside.
All 6 of those rings were Belichick's and not Brady.
If you look at those Super Bowls, I wouldn't say much of the winning of them was on Brady.
So
did he do much to lose it? No, but he wasn't influential in the wins. But that's the Super Bowls.
Do you have a surprise quarterback that will do better than Tom Brady that you think?
Oh, a lot of quarterbacks. I think I have at least 11 more than if I picture him at 12.
Well, yeah.
And we'll have that coming out soon. We have our rankings coming up. We are just about finished with those, and we'll have those episodes coming up with our official rankings. Obviously, early season rankings, and that stuff will change depending on what happens, injuries, all this and that. But so there you have it. Tom Brady. He is definitely a draftable quarterback. 2 quarterback leagues. He is definitely someone you want to go after, and it looks like based on these guys. He's definitely someone you go after in 1 quarterback leagues, and maybe you can get him later. We'll see. And, maybe you won't get him at all because maybe other people feel the same way and get him early, and then maybe you'll get another quarterback later on.
I remember last year he didn't even go drafted in most leagues.
Yeah, well, we didn't expect much from him, and he actually turned out to have a decent season. I mean, it was pretty good considering
He has like
weapons.
one of the easiest schedules too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from Tom Brady to PHILLIP Rivers. He is moving on from the LA Chargers, and I cannot really cringe when I say that. And he signed a 2-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts. What do you think about his new landing spot, Quinn?
It's weird.
It is weird, huh?
It's weird. I mean,
It's almost as weird as saying the LA Chargers. The
For you,
PHILLIP
maybe.
Rivers with the Colts. It just doesn't really mesh.
hey, any football fan who's new this year
Yeah.
would love to say LA Chargers.
That's true. I guess.
But
So if you were born prior to 2020, but after 2019, LA Chargers is for you. So any newborn baby, right? From the last year. Perfect.
this guy's gay.
All right. That
Anyway.
probably didn't make a lot of sense.
I know.
but
I'm
anyway.
dumb.
All right. PHILLIP Rivers.
I mean, I like Phillip Rivers. If you look at like what I talked about him, he was the best quarterback to never go to a Super Bowl.
Right.
I think he's in a better situation. I don't know if he'll do better for fantasy.
Is he in a better situation?
I think
though?
he
I think
is.
he's got downgrades at wide receivers.
Why wouldn't I'm not going to go that far.
But he does have a really good offensive line.
Let's just. I mean,
So
I think
he has a statue. That'll help him.
I think he's gonna do better because I think the offensive line is better.
Okay.
They have Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack duo, which
Right.
is gonna, maybe throw everybody off on the defense for the
Right.
throwing game.
That doesn't help Rivers too much, though, does it? Because
they
they
had-
run more.
They had Gordon and Eckler, so do you think that's going to compare?
They had pretty good.
Well, like I was saying before, I don't think he's gonna do too good in fantasy, but he's gonna be a pretty good quarterback for the Colts.
So he'll be a good football quarterback, but not a good fantasy quarterback.
Like,
Is that
I
what
say
you're saying?
Keenan Allen is pretty good, but I mean, other than injury, I don't see T.Y. Hilton far off from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of years, though. I mean, he's definitely older and more injury-prone lately.
Not older.
Yeah, I think he's
not older.
31?
They're like around the same.
I think they're about the same, like maybe 2 years.
Keenan Allen's 30 and T.Y. Hilton's 31.
Well, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
You guys keep going, and we'll get back to that age issue here.
I mean,
Phillip Rivers, will he have another kid?
I'm actually thinking so.
Well, we were in this quarantine virus thing. There's probably going to be a lot of kids coming up.
Yeah, actually. There's like baby boomers, but the virus boom.
You know he has more kids than playoff appearances?
Well, that's true.
I mean, Indianapolis Colts have a much better coaching and management system than the Chargers. That's definitely going to help Rivers.
Right.
Better management. Definitely a better offensive line. I think the running back situation is very similar. I agree it's a little bit of a downgrade from the Chargers.
Right.
Not much, but it is a downgrade. Like a solid downgrade. I think what the second receiver on the Colts is now Paris Campbell, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't really think he compares to
Mike injured
Williams.
last year. He was a rookie, injured. So this will be realistically his first year. He might know the system a little better, but he's still going to be first time on the field with or real playing time.
And we saw the receiving core last year, and they just got rid of Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
Which I think hurts a little bit.
Well, he was hurt a lot last year too. Man, injuries.
But he did play.
Yeah, he did.
When he played, he actually did very well too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely a downgrade at receivers, but I think that he'll still do very good. I mean, you see a lot of quarterbacks that do very good with average at best receivers.
Yep. Well, sometimes it's the quarterback that turns the receivers into good receivers. Maybe this will be the case. It's still hard to say. I'm not a Phillip Rivers fan right now. We talked about that. I just think he lost a lot of it last year. When a quarterback hits his cliff, it's a pretty quick drop. And he did not look good to me last year. I don't think putting him in a new situation, he's going to all of a sudden look good. Maybe a little better because he's got that, rejuvenation flowing through him. But
do you think he's going to look better than Jacoby Brissett? Because we saw what he looked like.
I don't know. I think Phillip Rivers' mind is better than Jacoby Brissett's mind, but Jacoby Brissett could throw a decent ball. Once again, he had no one to throw to, so I don't know if it's Jacoby Brissett. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
Because, Phillip Rivers doesn't do it. It's basically the same weapons. They drafted a rookie, Pittman, but he's a rookie. We'll see what he can do. But, we'll see if it was Brissett or we'll see if it's Rivers. Find that out this year.
I think the thing is also that where he's at now, he's got to play, 6 games against really good defenses.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to say that the Chiefs and the Broncos and, the Raiders is, easy, but I think the defenses are an upgrade for them. So he's gonna have 6 games where he might struggle.
Yeah. Well, maybe Jacksonville's taken a pretty good step back. So I don't know if
a solid step back.
If I'd consider them a good defense anymore in the past.
So.
But we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Speaking of those ages, I looked up the T.Y. Hilton. He is 30, going to be 31, and Keenan Allen is 28. So a couple years difference, but also Keenan Allen had his injuries early in his career, and he's been healthy the last several years. T.Y. Hilton has not been healthy the last few years, so we don't know if we can count on a full T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so here we go. We've talked about Rivers a little bit. Top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback, or not really looking at him on your boards this year?
Yeah, I'm going to have to put him above top 10.
So out of top 10. Devin?
I think probably between 15 and 20.
Okay, I think that's probably, but I've got him actually a little bit less than that. Further out, so none of us are really thinking he's draftable. If you're in a 2 quarterback league and you wait and you want to take a chance on him, go for it, but I don't think any of us are recommending you go after Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
So, Phillip Rivers, done. Okay. Next, Teddy Bridgewater. This is a guy that's very interesting. He played with New Orleans last year, signed a backup contract, got to play a little bit while Drew Brees was hurt, showed a decent showing. He showed that he could take care of the ball, and he won games. I mean, the Saints are a good team, so it was pretty easy to do if you don't make mistakes. We're going to find out this year if Jameis Winston can do something like that, should he need to go in. But obviously, Teddy Bridgewater could fill in, and Carolina saw that. They signed him. What do we think? Does he have a chance to be a top 10 to 15 quarterback, or is he outside?
So, I mean, in one of our leagues, we had team quarterbacks, and I had the New Orleans Saints quarterback. Right. And when Drew Brees got injured and Bridgewater came in, it was a bit of a headache dealing with Bridgewater. He was inconsistent. I think one of the games he just completely was horrible.
Well, he's a manager of the game as opposed to a fantasy.
Well, the last half of the game, he just went off. So I don't trust him.
He wasn't horrible.
Right.
Well, he did horrible the first half and then went off the second half.
I mean, it's not a good game.
Well, for fantasy, but it's
that's what we're talking about.
It's untrustworthy. It's I don't rely on it.
Fair enough.
I think Carolina is a like 2 or 3 solid steps down from New Orleans offense.
Well, now I have to question that part. Why would you say that? New Orleans has obviously a pretty good offense.
Okay.
I look at Carolina and I see they have pieces to be a pretty good offense, and they just don't have a quarterback. Now, I don't know if Bridgewater is going to be that quarterback, but if they do get a quarterback, I think they could be a really solid offensive team.
I mean,
They've got obviously the best running back in the game who can run and catch passes.
Yeah, that is true.
And they have 3 younger wide receivers who are all on the up and up and have really taken a step up to prove themselves to be really pretty good to really solid wide receivers.
Okay. Yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago when, 5 years is long, but not too long with football since when they were in the Super Bowl.
That's like dog years,
very good point.
You know?
Yeah.
5 years is like 50 years.
But I didn't really see Cam Newton as a pretty good quarterback. I think Teddy Bridgewater, Cam Newton was pretty good at fantasy football.
Right. He could
Teddy
run and make plays
good with
and make
football,
things happen. Right?
Meaning, I see the team doing pretty good with him.
Okay.
I don't know if fantasy, because this might be a Christian McCaffrey type year again.
Yeah.
They put Bridgewater in the mix so then they can, lessen the ideas of him.
They do have a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys know how Baylor was run? Was it more of a running team?
Super offensive team. I do know that. I haven't paid attention a lot to them, but I do know from what I've heard is that they were a really high output offensive team, and it's going to be interesting.
Well, I was looking at Cam Newton's stats compared to Teddy Bridgewater's stats, and I understand that Bridgewater doesn't have very solid stats. Recently, the only stats that you can really look at is about 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So going off of those stats compared to Cam Newton, I think Teddy Bridgewater had about 2-3% more in accuracy, and passer rating, I think he went up by 6 points, which is not a huge increase, but it's solid.
Yeah, it's enough.
Huge.
It's enough to make those few extra plays.
Mm-hmm. I think he's an upgrade, but I just don't see Carolina being a playoff team. I don't really see him being fantasy valuable. Yeah, just looking at him compared to Newton. Because Newton got most of his stats from rushing.
Yeah, he did.
Well, you can't only just look at him.
Well, he was the main quarterback on Carolina.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
You're only thinking about Ben Roethlisberger, right? Ben Roethlisberger 2 years ago. You're only thinking about him. Doesn't sound so good. But then you remember he had Antonio Brown. Now he sounds amazing. He's Juju Smith-Schuster. Now he sounds even better.
You think Juju's better than Antonio Brown?
No, I'm saying you got to remember that he's got people he's going to throw to that are going to make him better. I mean, DJ Moore's got moves, bro. He catches it from 12 yards.
Yeah, kind of like what we were talking about before. The quarterback can make the receivers better. The receivers could make the quarterback better. It kind of works both ways. So will Teddy Bridgewater be a top 10 quarterback, or will he be top 20 quarterback, or is he going to be on that bottom third?
Teddy Bridgewater, the thing with Teddy Bridgewater compared to Cam Newton is Teddy Bridgewater wants to win for the team. Cam Newton wants to make himself look better. So he's going to do what his mind tells him.
He does.
That's why he runs sometimes.
I mean, Cam looks good, right?
Well,
he's kind of a...
I mean, if you go look at all his cool plays... Shut up. If you go look at all his plays that
those plays? Gotcha.
Yeah, those
plays. If you go look at all his plays, right. Man, he made some plays. Woo!
Shut up. All right. Go look at his plays, dude.
Okay.
Shut up, dude.
So let's end it there. Teddy Bridgewater, we kind of discussed a little bit what we thought, good and bad. Obviously, we have some fairly mixed thoughts. None of us seem to be real comfortable with where we think he'll end up. So as far as picking a place for him, top 10, top 20, or out?
He'll probably be out, but I don't think he'll be out too far.
Okay. Devin?
I see him doing about a couple ranks better than Rivers. So a little bit better than Rivers.
Okay. And I also think he'll probably be in that 10 to 20 range. So I think he could be definitely a number 2 quarterback if you're in super flex or 2 quarterback leagues that you'll probably be able to pick up much later on. So once again, if you're into waiting at quarterbacks, then he could be one to key in on later. Okay. The last guy we're going to talk about is
Nick Foles.
The journeyman, Nick Foles. I was going to put him first, but I decided to put him last because the more I think about it, we need to discuss if he's going to even get a chance to play. Nick Foles was signed to a 4-year deal last year with Jacksonville. Thought he was going to be their quarterback of the future. Gets hurt. Gardner Minshew comes in, and then that's the end of it. They don't want to use him anymore. So I don't know what they were thinking, if they just liked what Minshew had and they didn't like what Foles offered, but they traded him away to the Bears, who seem to be quarterback needy. They've got Mitchell Trubisky, who has looked pretty bad in each of these past few seasons. It hasn't looked to really improve much, and if you don't see improvement, you're not going to last, even though he's a number 1 draft pick. They traded for Nick Foles. Sounds like there's going to be open quarterback competition. I mean, I don't think you trade for Nick Foles unless you're likely wanting to use him. But, if he looks bad, then they'll probably stick with Trubisky. If he looks decent to pretty good, then they'll go with Foles. So, the Bears, good defense, seem to have a few decent offensive weapons. Can Nick Foles come in and help your fantasy football team?
No.
Okay. That seems pretty straightforward.
I mean, when Vic Fangio?
Yeah,
Fangio?
Yeah.
Left, they just looked...
A little lost.
Yeah, a little lost. Nick Foles, I don't feel comfortable with the Jaguars system. I think they he just wasn't on the right team. I don't really think the Bears are the right team either for him. I don't really trust their system right now either. Unless, the coaching staff just gets, it together this year.
Are the Bears similar enough to the Eagles? I mean, the Bears have some of that Eagles playbook and mentality. I mean, he thrived when he was with the Eagles. Does that give us any hope for optimism in Chicago?
No.
Still no?
No.
No confidence in Nick Foles from Devin. Okay.
I really, really like Doug Peterson. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL.
All in on Nick Foles.
You are all in on Nick Foles?
No.
Okay, that was a good one.
But if
you had all of us. All of us.
Small bet and a big bet, and somebody raised the big bet, I would raise the raise. Poker. No. But I really do think that it's Mitchell Trubisky. And if you look at his tape, he's just terrible.
Yeah,
he is terrible.
He's a college quarterback for sure.
He just looks lost, you know? He just looks like either he doesn't love the game, he's not enjoying it, or he just doesn't get it.
Well, he's losing. I mean, who would enjoy losing?
Well, yeah, but there's still some quarterbacks
I think he's losing.
You know, they get mad and upset when they lose. He doesn't even seem to show that. I mean, he just doesn't have the enthusiasm. You know, like if you're losing, you go to your players and you try to, you know, talk to them and pick them up but he just doesn't.
I mean, if you look at
some winner, so it doesn't matter what he does.
If you look at some backup quarterbacks, like you can see, like when one of the quarterbacks goes out, and they get to come in, you can see that they're really happy to play the game. Mm-hmm. Which Trubisky, you can just tell that if somebody came in and he took it, like came in and like he was injured and he came to step out, be like, you know, it is what it is. If he was the backup in this situation and he was ready to play, he'd be like, dang it, I'm not getting my money for free now. It seems like he's here to get the money.
Well, Foles has made a lot of money for not doing
I mean,
he did win a Super Bowl.
Huh. I mean,
you know, that's all.
Against the best.
Yeah, that is true. Good.
And they just gave him away. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so Nick Foles looks like he really loves the game.
Yeah.
When he got injured, he was crying because he wanted to play more. I mean, the injury looked painful too. That could have been it. No, I'm just kidding. But he said that he was ready to come back and play, and Jaguars dropped him, and I think he's got something to prove. Plus, their offensive line is all right. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky he really just didn't look like he wanted to play.
Right.
So Nick Foles is going to be getting away from the rushers. They got a pretty hard defenses to go through with the 6 weeks. I mean, Lions got upgraded and stuff. So, but here's the thing, though. You also got to look at the receivers. Cole Kmet is going to come in. He looks pretty good. Allen Robinson has been one of the best.
They just got Jimmy Graham.
They got Jimmy Graham. Mm-hmm. I like Miller, too.
Riley Ridley. Mm-hmm. Calvin Ridley's brother.
Exactly.
He was supposed to be like a top 5 receiver coming out of the draft last year.
I feel like...
So he has some potential pieces to work with.
No. Yeah. But that's if they get Foles in here other than Trubisky. Trubisky might want to be like, you know what? I'm going to try just so Nick Foles doesn't play.
Well, you know what? This should light a fire under both of them because I believe that this will be the last opportunity both of them have as being a starter in the NFL. I mean, Nick Foles has been on several teams. If he can't make it in Jacksonville, he can't make it in Chicago. I mean, I don't think any other team is going to give him a shot to be a starting quarterback.
I do.
Sure, a backup, fine. He's proven he can do that. But a starter,
these guys,
no.
These are the types of quarterbacks that make the Las Vegas Raiders lose their mind. Think about it, bro. If they wanted Nathan Peterman, they're going to want Mitchell Trubisky. Or
they need a camp arm, and he's a good camp arm man. Plus, you know, I think Gruden has a crush on him.
Nick Foles?
Nathan Peterman.
No. He likes his knowledge. Nathan Peterman's smart, but he can't play.
Right. Yeah. That's what I mean. They can sit and talk. This was more of just something to appease Gruden and give him something to do when he was, you know, not doing anything.
Mm. I know it's a little bit off topic, but you think Nathan Peterman died a little bit inside when he heard Marcus Mariota was getting on the team?
Is Nathan Peterman on this team still?
I don't think so.
Of course he is.
Anyway,
he lives with him in his basement.
None of us are going to ever draft him, so
I would. If he was the quarterback of the Chiefs right now, I'd draft him.
No. Okay, Nick Foles then. We're not going to give you a this, or that. We're just going to... I want to know who is going to be the starter for the Bears, Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky?
I'm going to go Nick Foles.
All right, Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky?
I actually looked into it, and I heard that Nick Foles has the starting job.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I heard.
I mean, once again, I don't think you bring in trade for a quarterback like that unless you're going to start him.
So now what do you see, though? Top 5, top 10?
No, I don't. You know, I just don't care for the Bears all that much. I definitely see him as outside of the top 20. So for me, undraftable.
Yeah, actually, same here, outside of the top 20.
Okay, so there you guys have our thoughts on those 4 quarterbacks. Obviously, a couple of them will work out for you. A couple of them look like they won't work out for you. And that's where we're at on them. So that will end those topics for today on those quarterbacks. And we're going to just take the next couple of minutes to talk about anything else we might want to talk about.
Some idiotic thoughts.
Idiotic thoughts having to do with fantasy football, though. So can't talk about those other things that you do.
So this section pretty much is just like what we talked about previously, but like some crazy ideas. Like for one, I think Nick Foles has the potential to get top 10.
That would be an idiotic thought.
It's idiotic, but if it happens, hey, just think about it. He's got the receivers. He wants to actually play to win. Think about it. Top 10.
Listen, an idiotic thought from me would be that the Bears sign Cam Newton. I think he just has a bear vibe to me. He can kind of run. He's a little bit gritty. The media would love him.
So the coach is going to make Trubisky and Foles fight for the job and then laugh at them as he invites Cam Newton.
Here's the thing. Foles is going to get hurt again. And Trubisky is Trubisky. So there's an opening there.
Yeah.
You know? I just think that...
Do you think Cam Newton would do better than Foles?
Yes.
Here, I'll step you up one better. I think Cam Newton...
That depends on if Cam Newton's healthy.
Newton goes to Tampa Bay.
Once again, that's a real idiot.
I actually don't think that's impossible.
I didn't think
as a backup.
I didn't think Andy Dalton was going to go to Dallas.
Yeah, as a backup. I mean,
yeah, definitely not a starter. I mean, that's just out of
right,
question.
right.
But how do you think New England's going to do?
New England?
Yeah,
With
10 wins.
Jarrett Stidham?
10 wins.
Are you stupid?
I actually agree.
They have Bill Belichick.
I know Bill Belichick's good but
Bill
he
Belichick
just lost.
has won.
Yes, but he just lost his last 20 years.
No,
Like
no.
yes, but he's built his stuff around
He's had
Tom
other
Brady.
quarterbacks when Tom Brady was hurt or injured or whatever, and he's won with them. No, he's won with them. He's made some quarterbacks
from the
some bank in this league.
If you look at some of the players
Weren't
that
even any
came
good.
from New England, they're not nearly as good as they were on New England.
Yeah.
He literally makes players look good.
You want to hear an idiotic?
I hate saying it because I hate New England. But
You want to hear an idiotic thought?
okay,
I think the Jets and the Dolphins are both going to get the Patriots 4-0.
I think you're forgetting that Adam Gase is the coach of the Jets, and he himself is good for 10 losses without even playing.
10 losses, but 2 of the wins are going to be New England. Okay, you know what? I'll see the Jets losing once against them, but I think the Bills are going to be the one to take the.
That's going to probably be the team to do it. The Bills, if they can do it,
I think the Bills are going to destroy it.
because. I mean, Miami, although they've improved,
42.
I mean, I don't think any of us is looking at Miami as being a juggernaut or anything. And if Tua comes in, I mean, most rookies struggle somewhat. And, I mean, Bill Belichick is really good at taking advantage of teams.
Yeah. So is Kyle Shanahan. He tears offenses apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bill Belichick is delusional. He let his dog pick his draft pick.
That's funny.
And yet they still do good. It's ridiculous.
Bill Belichick sucks at drafts, though. He has not picked a successful first round.
He's
in
really good on the
years.
defensive side. He's not so good on the offensive
you
side.
know-
And he is a defensive coach, so maybe he should let somebody else take over drafting.
You know the
for
funny thing?
offense.
Oh yeah, and they just lost. What was it? I think
Van Noy.
no. One of the coaching staff, was it Josh McDaniels or was it someone else?
No, McDaniels is still there. Must have been someone else.
I think it was the wide receivers coach that went to the Giants.
Oh, yeah.
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 But what does that mean? You know what, Bill Belichick, how many coaches has he put into the NFL? They just keep cycling through, and he keeps winning. So it's definitely a Bill Belichick thing, not necessarily an offense thing.
Yeah.
And their defense was really strong last year. I think their defense will be strong this year.
You think they win 10 games?
I think they can still win 10 games.
I think so too.
I think they go 8-8.
Well, that'll be a first in a really long time. But this is
Here's
the time to do it.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
he
they
just
gotta
knows
hit.
how to work things.
Listen, dude, you can't be good forever. It's impossible.
Tell that to God.
And that completes this episode.
Yes. So that was it. We want to thank you guys for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you for listening to the FantasyFootballFirst.com podcast.
Jackson throws complete. Crabtree has it for a touchdown.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Get more fantasy info and check us out at FantasyFootballFirst.com.